You walk into the kitchen and suddenly stop for a few seconds. You can't remember why you came. Later that same day, you put your glasses somewhere unusual. 10 minutes later, you're searching the entire house. Or you're talking with someone you know well, and a simple word suddenly disappears. You know it. You've said it hundreds of times, but somehow, it just won't come. If moments like these have become more common after the age of 60, you're certainly not alone. Most people immediately wonder the same thing. Is my memory getting worse? The honest answer is that memory does change as we grow older. Some slowing is completely normal. But what surprises many people is that part of this change isn't simply caused by age. Every day, your brain responds to the way you sleep, the foods you eat, how much you move, the stress you carry, and even how often you challenge your mind. These everyday habits quietly shape how efficiently your brain works. Not overnight, but little by little. Today, we'll explore 7 common habits that may quietly affect memory after 60. And more importantly, simple changes that may help support a healthier, sharper brain as you age. If you're interested in healthy aging, brain health, memory, energy, and staying independent after 60, subscribe to the channel and join our community. Every week, we share practical, science-based videos designed to help you understand how your body changes with age and what you can do to support it naturally. Before we talk about the habits themselves, it's helpful to understand something that often surprises people. Growing older doesn't mean your brain suddenly stops learning. In fact, your brain remains remarkably adaptable throughout life. Scientists call this ability neuroplasticity. It simply means that your brain can continue creating new connections, strengthening existing ones, and adapting to new experiences, even after the age of 60. The process may happen more slowly than it did when you were younger, but it never completely disappears. That's why many older adults successfully learn a new language, pick up a musical instrument, master new technology, or discover hobbies they never imagined enjoying. At the same time, some changes are perfectly normal. Finding the right word may take a little longer. Remembering a person's name might require an extra moment. Learning something new may take more repetition than it once did. These changes are a normal part of healthy aging. They are not necessarily signs that something is wrong. The important question isn't whether your brain changes. It does. The real question is how you support those changes every day, because your brain responds constantly to the environment you create for it. Your sleep, your movement, your nutrition, your stress levels, your relationships, and how often you challenge your mind. Every day, your brain is listening to those signals. The good news is that many of them are within your control. To understand why daily habits affect memory, it helps to know a little about how the brain works. You don't need to memorize scientific terms. Just remember these 3 important ideas. The first is inflammation. As we discussed in our recent video about muscle loss after 60, aging is often accompanied by a slow, ongoing process known as low-grade chronic inflammation. This doesn't affect only the muscles. It also affects the brain. When inflammation remains elevated for long periods, communication between brain cells becomes less efficient. Try to have a conversation through a poor phone connection. The message still gets through, but it isn't as clear, and sometimes it takes longer. The second factor is healthy blood flow. Although your brain represents only a small percentage of your body weight, it uses an enormous amount of oxygen and nutrients every minute. Every thought, every memory, every conversation depends on a healthy blood supply. When circulation is reduced, brain cells receive less of the fuel they need to work efficiently. The third factor may be the most surprising. It happens while you're asleep. As we explored in our recent video about waking up tired after 60, deep sleep is much more than rest. During deep sleep, the brain activates what scientists call the glymphatic system. Think of it as the brain's overnight cleaning crew. While you sleep, this remarkable system helps remove waste products that naturally build up during the day. When sleep becomes too short, too light, or frequently interrupted, that cleaning process becomes less efficient. Over time, your brain may simply start each new day carrying more of yesterday's workload. Inflammation, healthy blood flow, and restorative sleep. These are three of the most important foundations of a healthy brain. And surprisingly, each one is strongly influenced by the choices we make every day. Now that we understand how the brain works, let's look at 7 everyday habits that may quietly influence memory over time. None of these habits, by themselves, determine your future. The important thing isn't perfection. It's the pattern you repeat day after day. Let's begin with the first one. Habit number 1, poor or fragmented sleep. Sleep may be the single most important habit for protecting memory. While you sleep, your brain organizes the experiences of the day. Important information is strengthened. Less important information is gradually discarded. It's also the time when the brain performs much of its natural cleaning process. When sleep becomes short, fragmented, or consistently poor, that work is interrupted. You may notice that recent conversations become harder to remember. Names disappear more easily, or learning something new feels more difficult than it once did. As we discussed in our recent video about waking up tired after 60, sleeping longer isn't always the answer. Deep, restorative sleep is what truly supports brain health. Habit number 2, not moving enough. The second habit is spending too much time sitting. Movement benefits far more than muscles and joints. Every walk, every bike ride, every swim, every dance class increases blood flow to the brain. Physical activity also stimulates the production of a remarkable protein called BDNF. Many scientists describe BDNF as fertilizer for the brain. It helps existing brain cells stay healthy while supporting the formation of new neural connections. The good news is that your brain doesn't require intense exercise. Regular movement is what matters most. Habit number 3, too much added sugar. The brain relies on glucose for energy, but it prefers a steady supply, not dramatic spikes followed by sudden crashes. Highly processed foods and sugary drinks often create those rapid swings. For many people, the result is brain fog, difficulty concentrating, and reduced mental clarity. As we explored in our recent nutrition video, choosing more whole foods and reducing added sugars may help support steadier energy, not only for the body, but for the brain as well. Habit number 4, social isolation. Many people think of conversation as something emotional, but it's also one of the brain's favorite forms of exercise. Every conversation requires attention, memory, language, emotional interpretation, and quick decision-making. When social interaction becomes less frequent, the brain loses one of its richest daily challenges. Even a simple phone call, coffee with a friend, or joining a local group can provide valuable mental stimulation. Habit number 5, stopping the learning process. The brain loves novelty. Learning something new encourages it to build fresh connections. It doesn't have to be complicated. Reading about a new subject, trying a different recipe, learning a card game, practicing photography, using new technology. Every small challenge reminds the brain that it still needs to grow. Comfort feels pleasant, but challenge keeps the brain active. Habit number 6, excessive alcohol. Alcohol affects everyone differently. As we grow older, however, our brains generally become more sensitive to its effects. Frequent excessive drinking has been associated with reduced cognitive performance and poorer short-term memory. This isn't about judgment. It's simply understanding how the aging brain responds. Making informed choices helps protect long-term brain health. Habit number 7, chronic stress. Finally, one habit many people underestimate: living with constant stress. Short periods of stress are a normal part of life. But when stress continues for weeks or months, the brain pays a price. Persistently elevated cortisol may interfere with learning, memory formation, and restorative sleep. Managing stress doesn't mean eliminating problems. It means creating moments during the day when your nervous system has permission to slow down. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do for your memory is simply give your brain a chance to rest. By themselves, none of these habits automatically lead to serious memory problems. That's an important point. The brain is remarkably resilient. It can recover, adapt, and continue learning throughout life. The real concern is what happens when several of these habits become part of everyday life at the same time. Imagine someone who sleeps poorly, exercises very little, eats mostly processed foods, feels isolated, and lives under constant stress. None of those habits may seem dramatic on their own, but together, they slowly create an environment where the brain has to work much harder every single day. Memory doesn't usually change overnight. Most people don't wake up one morning and suddenly notice a major difference. Instead, the changes tend to be gradual. You may begin forgetting appointments more often, misplacing everyday objects, repeating the same questions, needing more time to remember familiar names, or finding it harder to concentrate while reading or following a conversation. Many of these experiences can still be part of normal aging, but they can also be signals that your brain would benefit from healthier daily routines. The encouraging news is that positive habits work the same way. Just as unhealthy habits can slowly accumulate, healthy habits can accumulate too. Better sleep, regular movement, nutritious meals, meaningful conversations, learning something new, managing stress. Each one is like making a small daily investment in your brain. You may not notice dramatic changes tomorrow, but over months and years, those investments can help support better cognitive health, greater independence, and a higher quality of life. Your brain is constantly adapting. The question is, what are you teaching it every day? At this point, you may be wondering something important. How do I know if my memory changes are simply part of healthy aging, or if they deserve medical attention? The truth is that occasional forgetfulness is extremely common after the age of 60. Walking into a room and forgetting why you went there, misplacing your reading glasses, forgetting someone's name for a few moments before suddenly remembering it later. These experiences happen to almost everyone from time to time. In many cases, they're simply part of how the aging brain processes information. What deserves closer attention is when memory problems begin interfering with everyday life. For example, frequently getting lost in familiar places, repeatedly asking the same questions without remembering the answers, having increasing difficulty following conversations, struggling to manage medications or pay routine bills, or family members noticing changes that you may not recognize yourself. These situations don't automatically mean someone has dementia. Many different medical conditions can affect memory, poor sleep, vitamin deficiencies, medication side effects, depression, thyroid disorders. Even dehydration can sometimes contribute to confusion or forgetfulness. That's why it's always important to look at the whole picture rather than jumping to conclusions. If memory changes become more frequent, more severe, or begin affecting your independence, talking with your healthcare professional is one of the best decisions you can make. Early evaluation often provides reassurance, and when treatment or support is needed, acting early usually offers the greatest opportunity to help preserve cognitive health. The goal isn't to become fearful. It's to stay informed, because paying attention to your brain is one of the best ways to take care of your future. The encouraging news is that your brain continues responding to healthy habits throughout your life. You don't have to solve everything at once. In fact, small, consistent changes are often the ones that last the longest. One of the best things you can do is keep moving. Regular physical activity improves circulation throughout the body, including the brain. Whether it's walking through your neighborhood, swimming, gardening, or simply taking the stairs more often, every movement counts. Sleep deserves just as much attention. Your brain depends on deep, restorative sleep to organize memories and clear away waste that builds up during the day. Protecting your sleep may be one of the simplest ways to support long-term brain health. Nutrition also plays an essential role. A diet rich in vegetables, fruits, healthy fats, fish, nuts, beans, and whole grains provides nutrients your brain relies on every day. Staying socially connected matters too. A conversation with a friend, time with family, joining a local club, volunteering, or simply sharing a meal with someone you enjoy. These moments stimulate multiple areas of the brain at the same time. Finally, never stop learning. Read books, learn new recipes, practice a musical instrument, try puzzles, discover a new hobby, or simply become curious about something you've never explored before. Every new experience encourages your brain to build fresh neural connections. Your memory isn't shaped by one single decision. It's shaped by thousands of small choices repeated over time. And the wonderful thing is, you can begin making those choices today. Our memories are much more than information. They're family stories, favorite songs, conversations with friends, the faces of the people we love, the places we've been, and the experiences that shape who we are. Growing older doesn't mean giving up on protecting those memories. In many ways, it means becoming even more intentional about caring for your brain. Every healthy meal, every good night's sleep, every walk, every meaningful conversation, every new thing you learn. These may seem like small decisions, but together, they create an environment where your brain has the opportunity to continue adapting, learning, and supporting your independence for years to come. Please remember that this video is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It is not medical advice and should not be used to diagnose or treat any medical condition. If you notice significant or persistent changes in your memory, always speak with a qualified healthcare professional. Early evaluation can often provide reassurance and, when needed, allow treatment or support to begin sooner. If you found today's video helpful, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who wants to stay mentally sharp and independent after 60. You'll also find additional wellness resources in the description below. Thank you for watching. And remember, protecting your memory isn't about trying to hold on to the past. It's about giving yourself the best opportunity to enjoy every moment that still lies ahead.